Hello everyone and welcome to Training Tuesday for March 14th, 2023. This week I have a complete unedited training practice session for you with my Morelia Bredli Bennu. He had spent 2 days in this exercise tent exploring and hanging out. Yes, he had a heat source and water. He had come out of his enclosure on his own. I cleaned his enclosure, and then he was just having such a good time exploring the tent and relaxing in there that I left him in there for a couple of days. Now I'm ready to get him out and put him back into his primary habitat. And so I am asking him to please come out of the exercise tent and shift onto this station. And from there, I will transport him back to his habitat. I am going to feed him at the end of this target training session. Bennu is my oldest Morelia Bredli. He was hatched in 2014, so he is turning 9 years old this fall. And he's actually the second snake that is always featured in our introduction that plays at the beginning of each Training Tuesday with the music. He's the second snake there, going along the edge of his white enclosure, following the lime green target. One of the things I want to point out is that you have to be patient. Many of these snakes do not do shifting behaviors quickly, and their motivation level can have a lot to do with how quickly or slowly they do the behavior. Other things that can impact the speed at which they do the behavior is how many times they've done the behavior, how confident are they at doing the behavior, how well do they understand what you want, and if they know they're going to earn food reinforcement, how hungry are they, and frankly, how comfortable are they where they're at, and how much do they want to be where you're asking them to go. Bennu's pretty comfortable and relaxed in this exercise tent. However, it's been about a month since he's eaten, and so I know that he does want to earn food reinforcement. I also had to make sure that I gave him the opportunity to be awake and to see the target and understand and perceive what was happening, because he's been in this exercise tent just chilling out, relaxed for a couple of days, and I had to wake him out of his relaxed state of mind and jar him into a state of mind that meant he had to work to earn a food reinforcer. So as soon as I was certain that he actually saw and perceived the target, then I just had to be patient and wait for him in his own time, at his own speed, to come out and perform the behavior. Here he is coming out of the tent, and I'm just holding the target around the station that I want him to go to. I'm moving it a little bit more than I maybe normally do. Part of that is to keep him engaged, because this particular snake did not start his training until he was 4 years old. He came here with a very ill sense of behavior around human beings. He had a history of biting people, and he was pretty nervous and on and off fearful around people, like he wasn't always sure what the human was going to do. Target training's been a huge help to him. So I do move the target more than I might normally. One, it keeps him engaged. It keeps him focused on the target and not distracted by other things going on in the environment, like other people walking around or dogs walking around. I'm also moving it because there's a very, very specific spot I want him to target to. I specifically want him to target between the white PVC pole and the rope entwined pole on the tower. The reason for that is I want him securely positioned on the shift, because I'm going to pick the shift up and move it. I do not want him falling off. So I don't want his body to be completely all on one side of the PVC or all on the other side of the PVC, so that when he strikes the reinforcer and he starts to coil, that he is securely wrapped on this station. And when I go to help him out the rest of the way, that he can wrap his tail around one bar and his body is securely up against the other bar, and that's what you're seeing here. He did a fantastic job. He showed a lot of impulse control and patience himself. I feel I showed a lot of patience in waiting for him to complete this behavior. It took, I don't remember, I think this whole video between when I started and when I stopped the video camera was 6.5, 7 minutes. And all I did was edit out the part that shows me turning on the camera and turning off the camera. I left the rest in here for you to see so that you can see an actual session. This is what I use this training for, to shift them out of their enclosure and to then shift them back into their enclosure with no fuss, with no drama, and have the snake voluntarily participate in this part of their own care and husbandry. So I carried the station over there. Now he had his tail tightly wound around the PVC by the time we got over there, and I had to unwind it and put the rest of him back in his enclosure. He actually went into his enclosure on his own with the front half of his body, but he left his tail anchored around the PVC, and I had to help him move that a little bit, which is actually okay because it helps get him used to being touched, not only just in general, but comfortable with touch when he's eating. And obviously it doesn't frighten him because he doesn't drop his food